Hello, everybody. Buddy. It's Chris again. So one of the things that helped me on my journey, and I just want to say to anybody that is watching this channel that I'm not here to tell you how to do things, that you should do exactly what I've done. Everybody's journey is going to be different. And so these are the things that worked for me. If you feel called to try some of them, then go ahead and do that, because what do you have to lose, really? Um, so tonight I am going to talk about my coming into alignment with my belief in a power greater than us. And I did not grow up with any type of religion. My dad was an atheist, but somewhere inside of me, even from a small kid, and I don't know why, but I was climbing a tree when I was about 10 years old or something, and I was sitting on the branch, and the branch broke, and I fell. And when I landed, it knocked the wind out of me, and I'd never had that happen to me before, and it terrified me because I couldn't breathe. And somewhere in the back of my mind, I just felt that there was someone watching over me. And it was in the back of my mind. I didn't think about it very much, but it was there. So there was a possibility in my mind that there was a power greater than us. And it wasn't until I was in my 50s and when I left my ex-husband, that I must have opened myself up. I must have asked for help. I must have said I wanted to change, but somewhere, somehow, I opened my, and things started coming through to me, guidance, synchronicities. My intuition started to blossom. And I started to feel that, yeah, maybe there is a power greater than us. I didn't read the Bible. I've never read the Bible. I've tried, and it just doesn't make any sense to me. I never went to church. I've never had anybody that has talked to me about their faith and whatnot before I opened myself up to the possibility that there was this power. So I had a lot of doubt at the beginning. But there were things that happened. So a lot of times people will say, oh, well, that's just so random, or that's a coincidence. And for me, when they happen on a regular basis, when does it stop being random? When does it stop being coincidence? And when does it become something else? For me, I was always asking for signs at the very beginning. If you're out there, if you exist, show me a sign and let me know that you're there. So one of the signs that I kind of developed was 3 birds. And I remember I was at an appointment, and I'd gotten there early, so I was sitting in my car, and I was asking the universe to give me a regular sign, something that when I saw it, I would know that the universe was with me. And I happened to look up in the air at the time, and there it was really, really windy out that day, and there were 3 birds. So the first 2 birds were flying into the wind. The 3rd bird was a ways behind them, and it was having a tough time. And when I looked at it, I thought, "Oh, that 3rd bird reminds me of me." So then that became my sign from Creator, and I started to seeing 3 birds all the time. One of the oddest ones was I went to, Costa Rica with a friend of mine on holiday, and we used to go down and walk on the beach or sit on the beach, and as the waves would roll in, there were these brown pelicans that would fly on the breaks of the waves, and most days, there were 3 of them, and some days there were 5, and on the days when there were 5, I would just look up at the sky and say, "Huh, where's my 3 birds?" And 3 birds would show up. They were all different varieties of birds, but the strangest one was, we were staying with a couple, that was friends of the friend that I went with, and I'm talking to them about this. I'm sitting facing them and facing the house. They're sitting with their backs to the house, facing me, and behind me is their yard. And so I was explaining to them, and Glenn looks at me and he goes, "You're really superstitious, aren't you?" And I said, "No, it's not superstition at all." And then he looked over my shoulder and he goes, "What are those birds doing?" And I turned around to look. There were 3 black birds standing on the ground. All 3 of them had their heads up, and it was like it was raining out, and they had their beaks open to touch the water. So it was really unusual. And I turned and I looked at them and I said, "There's my sign." But it didn't connect with them. But for me, it was like, wow, thank you, Creator. Thank you for that. So then it kind of graduated from not just 3 birds, but 3 things, 3 3 things. So I have a Pinterest site, and one of the boards on my Pinterest site is 3 by 3s. So it's a variety of everything that are 3 because I consider 3 my sacred number. So I would always ask for signs. And one of the biggest signs, besides that one that I just told you about, I just realized I'm pointing over my shoulder like I'm pointing to the birds. The biggest signs that I remember was that I kept asking the universe, if you really exist, show me a sign and let me know, because I'd see the signs and I'd get all excited and I'd get really, yeah, that's right. And then a few days later, my mind would start working and I'd start doubting, and then I would ask for more signs. So on this particular day, I had asked for the universe to send me a sign to show me that it really existed. And I was making a left-hand turn, and I looked up ahead of me, and the car that was making the left-hand turn in front of me, his license plate said "Believe." And I was like, wow, that manifested really quickly. Like it was within almost like seconds of me asking and the universe showing me. So as I continued to get these signs and things were happening around me, like synchronicities and following my intuition, and things just starting to get better, I started to I started to really believe that there was a power greater than me. And so I started morning prayers. Uh, I I love the indigenous culture. I have a really deep respect for it. I've always been really curious about wanting to learn about it and whatnot. A lot of my spirituality has come from their beliefs that we're all connected, that everything has spirit, that we can talk to them and they will give us messages. And so my morning prayers are based on the medicine wheel. And I say a prayer to the east, the south, the west, the north, up above, um, Mother Earth, myself. And I say those every morning, and I've been doing that, gosh, for probably about close to 17 years now. And it's become just a part of me. I I have I've come to believe in guides and angels as well. And I ask my guides and angels for help all the time. And so I'm not saying that if you don't believe in a higher power that you need to. I'm not saying that if you don't believe in guides and angels that you need to. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just letting you know that these are things that worked for me. And if you would like to try and experiment and play with it, I would highly recommend that because what are you going to lose? You either don't believe in it, the same as what you maybe do now. You might possibly think that there is, or things might start coming to you when you open up and prove to you that there is a power greater than us. So, yeah, just do with it what you want. But I ask my guides and angels all the time for help because that's what they're there for. They are there to help us because we have free will and we can choose to do it or choose not to do it. My understanding is that they they can't help us unless we ask for help. And you have to be aware of how that help comes through because it might not be in a way that you specifically think it should come through or will come through. So you have to be aware of what's going on around you and what may be coming through for you. Um, I'm trying to think of an incident where, well, I've just asked for so much help over the years that I can't really think of a specific thing right at the moment. But I've asked for help in not in specific problems necessarily, but helping to, if I'm going through something, to help and give me clarity to understand it easier. I ask for help to when you see me hesitate like this, it's because I'm really trying to grab at the words or the circumstance or something that I can really relate to you to make a difference. And sometimes there's just blank energy there. But I don't panic about it anymore, and I'm not gonna apologize for it because in my one of my other videos, I think I said, "You see what you get." I'm trying to be my authentic self, and I have discovered for myself that we are always trying to project the best version of ourselves to other people, whether that's a true version or not. We don't want people to see our weaknesses or our vulnerabilities, our failures, our mistakes, our errors. And I totally disagree with that. I have found on my journey that being very, very vulnerable and open and allowing people to see my mistakes or my errors or my so-called failures, which are always lessons that are always trying to show us a better way. So I don't look at those things as something that I need to hide because it's who I am. And when I am being who I am and not worrying about things, not stressing about things, not caring in some ways about certain things, about people seeing certain things, that it will hopefully allow you to be your authentic self too. Because it shouldn't be a big deal. And like I say, there are so many things that we can learn about ourselves when we make mistakes, when we fail. So I think it's a good thing, and I'm not worried about it. So, yeah, so believing in, and I use various words for it. God is not my first choice, the word for God. I prefer creator. I use the universe a lot, source. But my connection now is so strong that I just, no matter what happens, I cannot imagine not having that belief in my life. And it has made such a big difference for me. It has opened up so many more resources, so many more ways of understanding things because I can ask the creator. If I don't understand something, sometimes I'll write it on a piece of paper and I'll put it under my pillow. And during the night, it might not happen the first or the second night, it might come the third night. But a lot of times, the answers will come in dreams. A lot of times, if you hear a conversation and they might say something that relates directly to the question you asked. Sometimes there's words in songs. You turn the radio on, and the first song that comes on um, will give you answers or directions. But you also have to be aware if you've asked a question. You have to be aware of what's coming around you, that there may be answers in those questions. And I have found that the more you ask, the more you trust what you're getting. And I tie that into intuition as well, trusting your intuition. Because for me, our intuition is our connection to the universe. And that's how we get our information come through. It comes through our intuition. So the more you ask the questions, the more aware you are of what's going on around you, the more you listen to what's coming to you and trusting what's coming to you through your intuition, the stronger that intuition gets, the louder you hear things, because most of the time the universe speaks in whispers and nudges, and you can talk yourself out of it so easily. Oh, this seems crazy. Like, why would I believe this? It doesn't make sense. But the more you use your intuition, the more sense it makes. Say hello to my cat, Elton. I sometimes call him Mr. Big. He is what you call a tuxedo cat, and I didn't know that when I got him. But I have since discovered that tuxedo cats are typically black and white cats, and they have green eyes. And I know of a few people that have tuxedo cats, and I've asked them because he has so much attitude. I've had a lot of cats in my life, and I have never had a cat that has so much attitude as he does. And apparently they seem to have a lot of attitude as well. So I think, just basing it on the number 3, my sacred number, that if you have a tuxedo cat, you probably have a cat with a lot of attitude. And I love him dearly. He's 4 years old. So, yeah, as you use your intuition more and more often, it gets stronger and stronger. And I am at the point now in my life where I trust my intuition so strongly that I do things that I intuitively feel I'm being guided to do when they don't make sense to me, because it is divinely guided. And if it's the universe that's guiding me, it's going to be good. Starting this YouTube channel is just one of those things. I was starting to get messages come through to me that I needed to do some throat chakra work. And I remember thinking to myself, like, why specifically the throat chakra? I mean, it's, you're speaking, but I'm like, I'm shy, I'm introverted. I don't talk a lot. But when I wanted to, I was going to make an appointment with my osteopath, and I'd only been to her a few times. I hadn't been to her in a couple of years. And I was asking to make an appointment with her. And the first thing she sent back to me was, are you interested in going to a throat chakra meditation? And I thought, well, I guess I have to, because I'm being guided to, and here's the opportunity. So I didn't even have to think twice about it. I just said, yeah, sign me up. And then there were things that would come through. So I belong to Pinterest. I have a Pinterest site. And a lot of the things that come through on my Pinterest board, I have a, pardon me, and there's my throat chakra acting up. This is uncomfortable for me because this is really outside my comfort zone. But I know that pushing myself and doing what is uncomfortable helps me to grow. So I do it. It took me a long time to learn it, but I do it. So on my Pinterest board, on my Pinterest site, I have a board that's Pin Now, Listen Later. And things will crop up on my Pinterest site, information that comes through. And a lot of it, at the time when I went to have to the throat chakra meditation, there was a lot of things coming up for me regarding my throat chakra. And there were meditations that were coming up that I did. There were card readers. So I've had a lot of help on this journey. I've mentioned the Creator. I've mentioned my guides and angels who I've asked for a lot of help. But I also, because I am a card reader, and I know that I channel information information that there's no way I should know. And I trust that. But that, again, took me a long time. But when I find so I have a couple of tarot card readers that I trust, because the messages that I get from them, they tell me things about myself that I am going through at that exact moment. And I know that a lot of them are talking to a collective, and that excites me, that there are more people than just me that are waking up and that are, I heard someone today say that we're not healing ourselves, we're peeling away the layers that aren't ours, the conditioning, the beliefs, the baggage from whoever. We're peeling that away and getting back to our true selves. And I'm beginning to believe that, because I believe that we are all born innocent. And no matter who you are, no matter what you've gone through, that innocence is the spark in our heart that connects us to the universe. And that stays pure. And if you can, I will say heal, because I've been on a healing journey. When you can release, heal and release all that armor, the masks, the beliefs, when you can release that, you're getting closer and closer to who you truly are. And I feel that very strongly because I know what I was like growing up, invisible. I did not want to be seen. I had no self-esteem, no self-worth. I was so shut down emotionally. I had nothing to give anybody. And I did not want to be seen because I could not look at myself in the mirror and say, I love you. I didn't like who I was. I did not love who I was. So in doing all this inner work, I am so proud of who I am today. But it's taken a while to get there, and I wouldn't change anything. It is, when I think of how different I am today from that young kid, if somebody had told me then that this is how I was going to turn out, I would have thought they were absolutely crazy. I would have thought there was no way. So I guess what I'm saying is that if I can make a major change in my life, no matter what you're going through, you can do it as well. And I'm not here to tell you how to do it, but kind of give you some guidance and maybe some wisdom of things that I've gone through that have helped me. And I would say the number one thing is opening up to a belief in a power greater than us. And just play with it. If you don't believe in the creator, if you don't believe in the universe, if you don't believe in a power greater than us, that's okay. That's okay. You can still make the changes. But I considered having my team of guides and angels to help me. They were just another resource that I was able to use for clarity, for answering questions, and that sort of thing. So, yeah, the number one thing in my life that made the biggest difference, and I didn't even know it at the time when it started to happen because I didn't have a strong belief, but I've built it over time, and I cannot imagine not having that belief in my life, no matter what happens, no matter what happens. So, yeah, I guess maybe I'll leave it there for tonight. And my next talk, I'll talk a little bit more about intuition and some of the kind of crazy things that I've done following my intuition. It seems crazy, and let's face it, I think a little bit of crazy in all of us. And if you don't think you are crazy, don't worry about it because I can teach you. But again, following my intuition has led me to some amazing experiences, some incredible growth and transformation. So, yeah, so have a good evening and just be kind to yourself. And we'll see you later. Oh, crap. I forgot how to turn this off. That's definitely, oh, there we go. End stream.